Hey there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back. It's another Red Pill Religion podcast. Red Pill Religion, where amongst the things we say are that you don't have to be religious. No, really, you don't. We don't care. But that doesn't mean you get to lie about history, lie about science, or lie about religious people. I once again am Max. Nice to see you all. Joining me tonight, I think it is the capital A militant cult network that is identitarian militant atheism on the internet. And we run into these people and they're shockingly nasty and hateful. I've got one going by Look a Pig who's called me in the middle of the night and made sexually harassing remarks. I see this who's claimed to be the boyfriend of one of Steve McRae. I don't boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't know, lover. Don't know if that's true or not. But as I even see still in my Discord, has recently sent me a friend request and a bunch of porn that he wants me to look at. So this is, clearly a deranged individual who comes out of the atheist cult network. Now, Engine, what have they been doing to you the last 24, 48 hours? I'm curious. I've got a bunch of screenshots here.
Yeah, well, basically,
apparently you're a horrible racist and also a misogynist and a Nazi or something.
Yeah, all that. White supremacist, all that.
White supremacist. Okay.
This all started because of what I said months ago on Non Sequitur's Discord, because before I found out how vile they were. I was this guy on there was treating me like absolute dog shit, and this other guy, and one time they were hounding me about something, asked me to prove them something as if I'm under any obligation to. Anyway, I was like, forget it. You make me feel like in the room, the dirty. So basically, the C word referring to black people and the dirty, Jew, like how an anti-Semite would treat a Jew in the 40s and how a KKK member would treat a black person in the 60s. So, I was referring to how I was treated on there, and they just went, being the candy ass SJWs they are, went out of their way to take that out of context and label me a racist. And people have been hounding me about that ever since. And now only recently, Geek Room has pushed it and said that he and his lapdog Look a Pig had screenshots of us talking about that stuff in the shit room, the shit posting section of the Discord, and let them out in the public, and now we're slandered as racists. Well, they've harassed me to hell all over Twitter the past couple of days and sent all their friends to join the server to get more screenshots, and they pretend that nothing happened.
Yeah, here's a few of the screenshots. Rape apologist is the one they're throwing it at pretty much everybody at the Red Pill Religion crew. Which is particularly odious since members of this group have literally been completely hateful, mocking, and abusive towards rape victims. McRae has, and his friends and apologists have been viciously nasty toward child rape apologists, multiple ones. And then they got the gall to come in and harass people with rape apologists. Steve McRae is a rape apologist. So were all of his friends at the Non Sequitur show. I mean, that's what they are. And so they accuse others of that, and they run in packs. This has been something that they've been doing for years. They run in packs and they encourage people to spread rumors about people, to spread lies about people, to mock them, to savage them, to harass them. This is what they do for fun and profit. But yeah, when somebody says, "Oh, I love listening to Godless Engineer because I learned so much about the Bible from him," that is not an idiot. Because see, here's the thing about McRae and the others at that Non Sequitur show: they're not idiots. They're reasonably high IQ. They know they're lying. They know they're being dishonest. They are professional hate mongers, and they're professional harassers. They're just going to get. They're going to sit there and say, if you use the big bad N word or in any context, you're automatically a racist. You know darn well if you followed any of these people around, you'd hear the same kind of language that they do talk that way.
And that's what SJWs in general do. They take the slightest thing they can find, you say wrong, and then use it to discredit you.
That's right. That's right. Look at some of this. They're claiming, oh, I see Brass there was coming in and says it's not bigoted vocabulary because it wasn't an insult and wasn't meant to degrade anyone. If anyone alerts people to those minorities, if anything, it alerts people to those minorities getting hurt, which is true, Brass. And of course, they say the hatred behind the word. Geek Room, you're a bunch of lying scumbags. Context matters. You're just abusive bullies. And you like quoting people out of context and putting them on show trials and then sending all of your goons to harass, intimidate, psych out, spiritually assault, and worse to people. People within this atheist collective. I mean, I'm going to say it. When we started our project, it was because not only I, but quite a few people I knew and witnessed got completely, the goal is to drive the person offline. The goal is to drive fill them with such hatred, with such fear, with such pain, because it's very painful when people are doing stuff like this to you, and they'll laugh and they say, ha ha ha, you just get mad about mean words on the internet. But of course they lose their minds if you say anything mean about them. No. These people are professional haters. They're thugs. I mean, I'm even going to go back to it. Any of these people, I tell a story about my child being bullied. I tell a story about friends of mine being beaten up for praying, for being Christian, and their response is to attack me. This is the kind of depraved men and women who hang out over there in atheist land, because it's an identitarian cult movement on the internet. They're not normal atheists. They're this horrible cult movement. Kind of horrible hate movement at that. And I mean, I've had this conversation more than once where I would say, listen, atheist regimes have been very oppressive, and they scoff and they laugh and they say it doesn't happen, it doesn't work that way because atheism is isn't a belief, so it doesn't do anything. And then you show them the evidence and they say, well, of religious people not being allowed to hold office, of religious people being jailed and their churches burned down, and they're saying, well, it's not that bad. That seems like a good idea. I've had that conversation. Which means they're incredibly two-faced too. They will put up a game about how they're all about tolerance, and they routinely show themselves to be the most hateful and intolerant people on the internet. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why they hate us so much, because we show all the time. We get along great with witches, with pagans, with Jews, even Muslims. Different kinds of Christians who aren't complete wingnuts. Our whole team is made up of people of differing religions. And according
to Geek Room, we're all balls deep in your nutsack.
We're all balls deep in my nutsack, whatever that means. Well, and I guess I enjoy that. I wish you would all just give me more money if that were true.
What are you talking about? You owe us money.
If you had seen my text that they put in out of context, and Kyle actually tried to say the whole I'm racist, and like really the entire conversation I was having with Degenerate and Cap was over the fact that me and Degenerate and Cap are against discrimination laws, but we're firmly against discrimination as a moral stance. There is a difference.
And try to label them porch atheists.
That's right. Any atheist who isn't down with the hate religious people agenda gets called a porch atheist or a weak atheist and abused by the members of this hate cult. By the way, speaking of hate cults, look at how the Geek Room is lying. They say, hey guys, we got Twitter restricted for a while. Can someone help us get the word out that White Engine from Red Pill Religion mass flagged our tweets and got us restricted falsely?
I was flagged too. I got banned.
Number one, there was no mass flagging of any kind from us, you lying. There was no mass flagging, and I saw no calls from Engine for mass flag. I'm sorry, I didn't. He may have asked a few people to flag a specific message, but if you got flagged, it was probably because you were engaging in hateful behavior, because your whole group engages in hateful behavior. I'm going to repeat something. You guys are no better than Nazis. You guys are no better than Klansmen. You guys are no better than Stalinists or Mussolini lovers. You're just vile and hateful. And I'm sorry, but I think maybe what's actually happening is that even Twitter is getting tired of people like you. I got a lifetime suspension for just saying F you to a couple of atheists. I got a lifetime suspension for that. You think, I don't know, are we supposed to care when this happens to these guys, especially when they lie so blatantly? I mean, I'm sorry, there was no mass flagging campaign, you liar. Go ahead. That's why bearing false witness is such a big deal. You start spreading rumors about someone that you know aren't true, and that affects their life. It not only affects how they see things, but it affects how strangers see things. And that is how this hate cult, and it is a hate cult, has operated on the internet for more than 10 years. They don't want to argue with people. They don't want to have a conversation. They want to destroy anybody who rejects their ideological worldview.
And this is how and this is how Kyle plays. Like he just wants you to say something bad, and he'll be like, "See, this is what religion does to people."
Oh, right. Like he tried saying that I was anti-gay because of something I wrote saying I no longer believe that homosexuality is a distinct orientation now that we've got 54. That supposedly makes me anti-gay. My lesbian sister-in-law doesn't matter. My good friend Eric, who started one of America's first gay bars, it doesn't matter. Any of my gay friends doesn't matter. My years of advocacy for gay rights, all I wind up with is backstabbed by people like that, accusing me of homophobia, and it's just like people will bear false witness on a dime. They'll take any pretext they can. I'm just going to say it. They're flat out evil. And furthermore, even when one of them comes in and says, well, you did, how you should apologize because you said something nasty to so-and-so, your answer should be, you first. You first. When are you guys going to apologize for anything? And they never do. I don't know. I guess we're just kind of rambling here, but I think it's important that more and more people see this. Destroying people's reputations and destroying them generally is actually what this atheist movement that these people are part of is about. And it's really funny. People come in, Christians especially, but people from others come in and say, why are you being so mean? You're making it worse. You're driving them away. And I'm like, no, I'm not. This is who they are. And
turns out Geek Room's in the chat.
Well, they can be in the chat. I don't know how they got on the chat since I blocked them. I don't want them here, but the little fascist, racist pigs can say whatever they want. Because, really, making false accusations of racism, that usually comes out of racists, in my experience. Just like false accusations of misogyny usually come out of misogynists. And false accusations of homophobia often come from gay haters, especially from self-hating gays. I've seen this all the time. These people project. They find a pretext to attack somebody. They stick with their pretext, and they're always projecting, because you can rarely find a bigger bigot than these people. They have no respect for black people. They just want to be able to scream you're a racist. They don't really care about gays either. You've just got to be the right kind of gay. Otherwise, they can destroy you. Hell, they've done it to members of our team who are gay. They are bullies who attack them in high school. They are the bigots they claim to hate. They are the intolerant, Stalinist, KKK-style thugs that they think that they're defending against. They're hateful to Jews, they're hateful to Muslims, they're hateful to Hindus, they're hateful to Buddhists, they're hateful to deists, they're hateful to atheists who won't toe the line, they're hateful to agnostics who won't toe the line. And what's worst all about them, I think, is that while they're doing all this, they lie constantly about science, and they lie constantly about history too. They poison everything they touch. They're vile wherever they go. Geek Room, please quote me as saying that. Then go ahead and lie and say I said it about all atheists, even though I didn't. I said it about you and your fellow cultists.